Guys, we are back at Deep Cut Books, the hands down best book recommendations from yesterday and today that you will find anywhere in the bookverse. And trust me, I have looked. Today, I am excited to talk about John Steakley's Armor. Not only because he is one of my favorite authors of all time, but Armor, I think, is one of those rare, underappreciated classics deserving of some slovenly praise, of which I'm about to give to you. So, John Steakley's Armor. The planet is Banshee, the air is unbreathable, water poisonous. It's home to the most implacable enemies humanity's ever faced. Felix, our hero, one of them, I guess, is an armored scout in A-Team 2, highly skilled, equipped with a marvel of an armored suit that basically makes him a one-man nuclear-powered tank. He is the sole survivor of mission after mission. His run of good luck, though, isn't only due to the suit. He's protected, or at least he thinks he's protected, by a being that lives within him that he calls the engine. Just flips on at the time of battle and just makes him a cold killing machine. Armors is Felix's story, the horror and the courage, the aftermath of combat, and how the strength of spirit can sometimes be the greatest weapon of all. It's also a little schizophrenic with the engine thing, but it's very entertaining. And that's pretty much the back cover without me just reading it to you. But why should we read this? First, gritty, intense action. I think this book holds some of the best action sequences ever written, and it's got my favorite ending to it, bar none. Second, Armor has a soul. Its protagonist, Felix, is not a guy who wants to be a hero. He's on Banshee to do a job, just not what we're looking for as far as like Schwarzenegger charging in. He actually ends up being more of a victim. He's just trying to survive less against the enemy and more against the grinding military machine that chews he and his comrades up physically and mentally, just for surviving. Mission after mission, that's his reward. Just keep going, keep going. Third is depth. Not only in Felix, but almost every other character we meet is the same in some way. Everybody in this book, the theme is survivorship. They're all survivors of circumstance, just like Felix, and there's no like white hats in this book. There's no good guys here. Everybody we meet is at best a shade of gray, and it's based on their experiences. Their darkness has an impact, and these people resonate with you long after the story sadly comes to a conclusion. And finally, without preaching, Steakley illustrates how terrible thing war is. Armor displays the incompetence of the assumed authority, the bureaucratic machine that just spends soldiers' lives for the glory of nothing more than a narrative and an ultimately unattainable objective. And that's my take. And I already said I'm more than a little biased about this. This is one of my all-time favorite books. To be fair, though, I did pull some reviews from Amazon and Goodreads, and shocker, but though I am in the majority, not everybody is in love with Armor the way I am. But we're going to start with the good news. First one, just like Heinlein, personal, gripping, and detailed, I had a hard time putting it down. It's not the pulp science fiction of today. Sadly, that's kind of true. Next, Steakley's writing is direct, the action's very kinetic, and it totally works for me because it really paints an authentic portrait of the sudden and seemingly random nature of violence. Captured, I mean, just the tempo of the book just does that. It just illustrates it so well. Also, it has a transition in it that does seem a little jarring, but ends up being totally justified. If you're a science fiction fan, this is a must-read. In my opinion, it is to the science fiction genre as A Catcher in the Rye or To Kill a Mockingbird. Honestly, I never read either one of those books because they wanted me to read them in school, and I never read anything that the teachers wanted me to read in school because they were always boring. Next, people need to read this book and pray that Hollywood never finds it so they can't make a crappy CGI version of it. Hallelujah. Preach. This is the last one, and it's kind of in the middle of the road, so I added it. There we go. I'm an unapologetic fan of this work, but, because there's always a but, as a professor of English, buckle up, I feel the need to point out that Steakley's prose is at best pretty basic. You gotta love those backhanded compliments, right? That said, we're going to continue. Steakley delivers a riveting, well-paced tale with some predictable twists and turns that nevertheless arrives at a satisfying conclusion. Understatement. The conclusion's amazing. It's a very fast read, but it's one I've come back to time and time again when I needed something enjoyable to break up, the self-congratulatory nature of real literature. My degree aside, he's going to mention degree a couple times. How many times did he mention it already? I think that's twice. Great, you get an English degree. He continues, reading should be fun if it's not meant for study. And Steakley delivers that fun in spades. Definitely give this one a try. That one seemed like a lot, but I really think his heart was in the right place. And we just got a lesson from an English professor, so you're welcome. Let's go to the 1 stars. Here we go. Positives. Interesting ideas about the emotional effects of combat. Lots of ant killing, if that's your thing. Snark. Why else? I mean, honestly, why else would we be here? Negatives. We continue. Tons of cigarette smoking. Over and over, the author says things like he lit a cigarette, etc. Made me wonder if R.J. Reynolds or some other tobacco company paid the author for product inserts. I would love to be able to get paid for product inserts. Cigarettes. Out of 400 pages, cigarette smoke was what the real negative was. How exhausting would a conversation with this troll be, honestly? We continue because he's not done. Very limited cultural or social descriptions. He wrote thought, several different groups are talked about. This is a sci-fi horror novel. How much would a treatise on the various cultures of this particular empire drag on the tempo of this book, which is a sprint, by the way. Honestly, I'm really glad the review is over. Next, jaw-dropping. Hold on. Not just the amateurish sentence structure, cumbersome vocabulary, paper-thin characters who act and talk like something out of a Mickey Spillane novel. Settle down. Mickey Spillane is freaking awesome, and we're going to talk about that shit later. Continues. Nonsensical actions taken by those characters and ridiculous structure to the book. The book structure is original, but we're not done. No, the really stunning thing is, hold on, how many people think this is good? What were those people thinking who gave this 5 out of 5 stars? Which, ouch a little bit. Shots fired. I don't leave reviews on Amazon unless the book is like earth-shaking, but this dude's like trying to start a fight in a library. It's kind of weird. It's like, settle down, buddy. But he's not done, by the way. Have they ever read anything before, or is it just people who normally don't read and somehow they pick this up? What do you want to bet that this dude spends a lot of his time arguing with bots on X and actually thinks he's having dialogue? Last one, because honestly, I can't stand it, but it's only because his writing really entertains me. Hold on, this is verbatim. One damn bad book. As far as I am concerned, I did not like this book at all. I found it a total waste of time. Frankly, I just do not see why other people think this book is so great. I hated it, and it was a struggle just to finish it. But you did finish it. Not only does this guy not like this book, but he also appears to hate contractions. Ugh, trolls. Whatever. The praise massively outweighs the trolls, and we have John Steakley to thank for that. Unfortunately, this particular sci-fi master died young and only left us 2 books, the other being Vampires, which we will talk about later because that's still in my top 5 of all-time favorites. Armor is still widely available wherever you get your favorite books, and I would humbly suggest that if you do follow my recommendation and go get one, get it from an independent bookstore because they could always use the help, and most of the time they're way better at customer service than the chains. Definitely better than Amazon. Before I go, don't forget to like and subscribe. I hate saying that. Check out my newest book, Overmatch. I love saying this. Benhoff trying to stop a rogue Chinese agent from wiping out the entire U.S. arsenal. out now everywhere books are sold. Like I said, independent booksellers first. Link in the show notes, and that's it for me. I will talk to you guys soon. I got more to talk about because we're going through all my favorite books from all